Good morning, the COT data video for the week beginning the 11th of November 2024. We had a humongous week this week with the US presidential elections, with the FOMC. Next week we've got the CPI, and it's been quite a roller coaster week, and obviously the implications of a Trump win on the dollar is absolutely massive. It's huge. So if you encountered quite a lot of chop and volatility, it was because of that, as you probably were aware. And there was a lot of turbulence in forecasts as well. I saw on Twitter people saying, oh, the euro is going to go to 105. Some people are saying it's going to 1.1. No one really knew, but people are saying it's going to do this. But how can you say that? How can you predict the future? It's crazy. So what you should do is have like a forecast and then stick to it, or don't have a forecast at all and just see what happens. This is what I do. People say, what do you think is going to happen? I've got no idea. But we can use data to guide us. Okay. Now it does look, if we look at the COT data, it does look like we're trending lower on the euro. Right. So you can see we made these like lower highs and we made like a lower low. So we're sort of trending lower. So we can use that data to help us. Do note that the dollar is stable. Wow, we're just teetering above zero, and the euro had a big plummet. And it looks to me that this might be like a phony move, and it's like a dead cat bounce, and we may continue lower. But it does look like we're trending lower. So sometimes when someone asks me what do I think is going to happen, I can't tell you with any degree of certainty because no one knows. If anyone tells you that they think they know, they're lying. Okay, because no one knows. Right? So if you ask me, then you get like a strange response. It's because of that, okay? And I don't mean to be rude, but it's just like the fact that no one knows, and it's a bit crazy that people think that people do know, but they don't, right? So it looks like we're going to go lower, but we have got that support as well, okay? So that may be absolutely critical. Maybe we didn't sustain that break. We're back above. So perhaps we could be okay, Just you have to be careful and know your exits. Let's look at the yen. Now the yen will be off note because we were really heavy down here. We had that big BOJ pump, and it looks like we're just retreating slightly there. We're back below zero, and it didn't last long above zero, you'll note as well. Okay, so pretty much range bound, I guess you could say. Really, aren't we? That low and that high. We may just chop the rest of the year, and whether or not we will remain below zero, possibly. But it will be down to like the forward guidance from Japan, and we'll just have to wait and see. We may go above zero. It's quite possible, but I think we're going to be range bound, and we're going to do this zigzag for the rest of the year potentially. Okay, euro off, Aussie on. Aussie has ticked higher, but I think what might happen this time next week is that we may start ticking lower due to the Trump effect and the consequences on China and the rest of the world. And one good thing is that China will be ready for the tariffs, so that's a positive. Before the last time, it was a bit of a shock, but there won't be a shock. They'll know what to expect. So it might be the case of them being ready and being prepared, and they won't have that sort of like shock value on the currencies like we saw on the Australian dollar last time. It really fell. So we may see that tick lower, but it might not do like a massively aggressive move to the downside because it's been anticipated what's going to happen. Okay, so that I think possibly down, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay. Pound on. I think pound could be a little bit resilient, but it's doing what I thought might happen. We're breaking that. I was saying, we had this like trend line break, and we are may continue lower, but we are positive. So that's something to note. And in terms of a country's economy, in terms of the tariffs, the UK won't be too bad. So we may not be too aggressively heavy on the pound, but it does look like we're starting to move, doesn't it? It's quite heavy. and whether or not we'll get the crossover from the dollar. If we do get the crossover, the pound's probably going to break 1.3, and we're probably going to go a lot lower. Okay, so that's something that I'm probably envisioning might happen, where we have a break with that big round number on the cable rate, the pound USD. Okay, so keep an eye on that, especially if we get that crossover, which we may well do. Okay, pound off, CAD on. CAD's just really heavy. It's really heavy. Let's go into free fall, wasn't it? Minus 175,000 contracts. And we may break that low. We'll have to wait and see. So just be careful if you're buying CAD. All right, so it's looking quite heavy there. We had a lot of CAD trades on our system this week, which is cool. We made quite a bit of profit. It was really good. So we were looking for CAD strength as we closed out the week. So we may see this tick high, and that low is obviously going to be really important. Okay, CAD off, gold on. Gold's going to be of note. All right, so if you remember, this is where the herd started to sell, and we had a flip, a shift on sentiment up here. And so it looks like we made a head and shoulders as well, and that was the all-time high. Okay, so just be aware that they'd sold. When I say they, the retail guys, they'd sold, and then this move squished them out and it liquidized them massively. And so this could be a scenario where they've gone shorted, they got absolutely squished, and they've had to get out. And by that transaction, that those sellers are now become buyers. If the retail traders are buying up here, down we come. All right, so be careful. All right, so just be careful. Don't necessarily sell gold just because of this, but do note that we may have created a top there. Okay, gold off, and then we can look at New Zealand dollar. Just going sideways and chopping. It has been for ages. I'd only be interested really if we broke, these lows, or we broke above that high. At the moment, we're just going sideways. We're just consolidating New Zealand dollar, and then we'll look at the Swiss franc, and pretty much going sideways as well. So keep an eye on the pound USD. We may get a setup there on the crossover. The euro does look like we're trending lower. The Australian dollar looks like it probably should be moving a little bit lower because of the Trump tariffs, but then there is that possibility of China being ready. So they've got like a cushion, in case to prepare for any shock, they'll be ready. So the Aussie might not go into an aggressive sell-off mode because they'll be ready for it. And New Zealand dollar and the Swiss franc are sideways. It's worth noting we had a really good week on the baht. We made like 150 pips, and there's the address there, which is in Telegram. So this is free to join. So do join us. We've got 68 subs in here. It's free to join. You've got free signals. What it does, it uses Twitter sentiment and technical data. So it uses sentiment and technical. So it's a powerful bot, and you can see we made some good profits. And what we'll do next week, we'll put the sizes back to how they were. I was just really unsure this week because of the elections. So next week we'll go back to normal sizes. And lastly, about the new logic, is that I've been following this new logic, and just by using small sizes, made 161 pips using the max liquidization theory, which is also in Telegram as well. So in case you're wondering what that is, it's basically what it is. I'll show you. And what we're doing, we're moving from extreme to extreme, and we're waiting for the herd to get liquidized and stopped out. And I'll show you what I mean. And so here. Okay, so this came out Wednesday night, and I was saying this should be a liquidation move. I'd entered, and it went exactly to plan. And this is just like a thing that happens every single day. And I'm now recording that data into the sheet as well. So it's in there, okay? And we'll just have to see how we go. Do note this is only 2 days worth of data, and we've got 161 pips in 2 days. So, and also they're all successful as well, which is really amazing. And that's it. So that's the COT data video. You're welcome to join the bot. That's free. If you want to join the spreadsheet, we've got a 2-week free trial. You're more than welcome to join. If you want to sample the sheet, it's really, really good. And we're using this tab for signals. Okay. And obviously we've had a reset of the data. So ignore what it says there because we've had a reset on the sheet. But as the sentiment evolves over the course of the day, we'll get the signal. And then that's how we're using the sheet for signals. All right, so that's the COT data video. I wish you a great weekend. Remember to join us if you want. If you're curious, you've got any questions, let me know, and I'll speak to you guys soon.